Okay. So, in the previous class we have discussed regarding to data encryption, how data encryption can be done. More specifically speaking, the data encryption standard will be Caesar cipher. More specifically, the data encryption could be called as the Caesar cipher. We have discussed the point. Again, I'd like to repeat this way because many people who are in second year 2-1 only, you may not understand in a proper way. So, what exactly the data encryption could be? I'd like to discuss one more time with the same concept, and then we'll write some number of programs how data encryption cipher text will be, how it could be gets prepared, and how data encryption could be gets happen, and what are the different kinds of programs which are used to encrypt the data and decrypt the data. So let us go in detail about those data encryption today, and then followed by next concept of next concept which is being there with us in our syllabus. So let me open your syllabus also for a while, then it is very easy to understand what kind of concepts we are supposed to discuss today. Okay, so the data encryption standards will be taken into consideration something like this. Yeah, so here we were here right now. So we are trying to specify something about data encryption here right now. So we are taking this particular concept at this moment, and then we'll move to next concept, that is strings and the number systems. How a number system is being doing some kind of concatenation with generating some kind of number systems here. So also discussed today. And if it is possible, already string methods have been discussed with you. Already is done with you. And then let us go ahead. If time will be permit me, I will discuss regarding to text files also. How the text files are being processed in this particular scenario. Let us have a discussion about all this. Probably some people are facing some problem while join into this class. Of course, they are still joining. Okay. However, so these are the points which we'd like to concentrate today. So point number one, data encryption, and related to data encryption, what is encryption kind of program, and what is the decryption kind of program, and number systems, how a number already I have given decimal to binary number system conversion has given to you. And today we would like to concentrate on binary to decimal, how that things will be gets happen with the number systems, and then followed by string methods. Already I have discussed these string methods in your previous class itself or your previous session itself. And then possibility will be there to discuss something about uh, yeah, possibility will be there to be discuss something about text files also. Let us go ahead and without wasting time, let us go ahead and discuss something about data encryption here. So data encryption could be, so it takes place something like this. So already we have taken this particular concept in the previous class itself, but let me discuss one more time. So as far as ASCII character set, if you consider ASCII character set, the ASCII character set will be always taken something like this. Small a can be the ASCII value for small a is 97, and ASCII value of small z will be 122, something like this. So based on this, we would like to discuss something like this here. And data encryption, normally data will be transmitted over insecure channel. The insecure channel will be internet. Internet is insecure channel. If you are not supposed to follow any kind of rules and regulations to transmit the data over internet, then actual text will be forwarded by you. Obviously, people will, the hackers or intruders will be So easily identify what kind of data you are trying to process over there. So that is why we would like to follow some a number of encryption standards here. We are interested to prepare about only data encryption standard of Caesar cipher only, not exactly all other. Only Caesar cipher is going to be discussed today. And this data transmission over what you call wireless networks, in the sense, obviously you may be, I mean, the people who are communicated between them, so that may be easily observed by the intruders or hackers. Okay, to avoid this particular hacking of your transmission, then obviously we would like to go ahead and do some kind of operation. Here, that operation is called as encryption and decryption. Encryption always take your message, your actual message, and can be prepared some ciphertext which is not understandable mode by the intruder. Okay, which is not understandable mode by the intruder. And then whereas the opposite operation, converse operation, could be decryption. So after receiving the data by the receiver, the person who is communicated with the so receiver, obviously he must be decrypt the same kind of data by using the decryption algorithm, and you could get the plain text, whatever the text you have interested to communicate with the friend. So that will be getting back by the receiver. Okay. So for doing this particular operation, we need to have one key. Without key, encryption or decryption cannot be done. So therefore, we would like to give the key to the both parties. So party number one, the sender, who is wants to communicate with the persons, and the person who is receives the data, he must also decrypt. He must also need this particular key here. This key will be agreed by both parties. Okay, both the persons must be agreed. This is the key which is being used to be considered as a decrypt or encrypt the messages. So how this could be gets happen? Let us have a look here. There is encryption algorithm, EA, in the sense encryption algorithm. It could be taken so message as input here. So message in the sense actual message, what exactly you are trying to send to your friend or your receiver. So that message will be in plain format. Plain format in the sense HELLO, hello is the message actually. So that could be wanted to communicate with your friend. So this encryption algorithm can be taken two different types of inputs. One is your actual message, and second one is the key. Whatever the key you are trying to manipulate or create encryption ciphertext to the to that particular plain message here. After this, it could be sent over internet. Internet in the sense it is unsecure channel. Security could not be provided by internet here. That internet will be transfers or what you call transmit whatever the data you have sent from your side to the receiver. So you send the data which is in encrypted form, that is called as a ciphertext, C in the sense ciphertext, and can be placed onto internet. This ciphertext will be received by many people, not exactly your friend. Many people will be received that ciphertext. The person who is having so the key with him, whatever the key you are used to make the ciphertext, the same key can be used at the receiver's end also. So at the receiver end, so the data, decrypted algorithm can be used to get back your what actually message will be, so that you could get the message back here. So you need to understand one particular point here. This key, whatever the key at your side, the sender side, it must be always in terms of positive value. It is basically an integer value. It is always a positive value. Where exactly the decryption, it must be a negative value. It must be a negative value. Okay, it is a positive integer. For example, you may be given key as 3 in the sense at your side, it must be operated positive 3. Where exactly the decryption at our friend or at our receiver side, it must be negative 3. It must be operated in terms of negative 3. Key will be same, but the operation, the actual operation which is involved here is So that is positive or negative could be taken into consideration. So here we would like to give only in lowercase letters as input. Plain text message will be m will be always equal to lowercase letters only. So these lowercase letters will be ranges between A and Z, and A will be ASCII value of A will be considered as so this 97. ASCII value of Z will be considered as 122. If you are supposed to give Z as the character, so after Z, Z plus 3, while you are transmitting or while you are finding out this encryption, so Z will be given by you. Z plus 3 will be, so it is beyond the limits of A to Z. So 125 will be the value if you are supposed to give as Z. So you need to take care about the applying so encryption algorithm while Z will be received by you. So if your data could not be Z, there is no problem. If data will be having Z, then you have to take care about that one. So that particular value will be so seriously making some kind of operation over there. How this could be? Let us have a look and let us observe this one by opening this particular form here. So let me open one small so file for you. A new file will be taken here, and here how the things will be gets happen at your side. So let me take the input first. So input will be plain text pt will be equal to or message m, whatever you can consider whatever the variable it might be. You could take your own variable name. So will be equal to input. So it must be always in string only. So enter plain text in lowercase letters. Lowercase letters only. Okay, a word. The plain text must be in terms of a word. Plain text word. So in lowercase letters only. If you are supposed to give uppercase, so our program could not be done anything in favor of you. That must be your job to perform. If uppercases will be there, that is your assignment program. So plain text has been taken. After that, you need to take the key. The key K will be equal to enter. Input. So this must be an integer so that you have to mask it. So input, enter, enter the key, KEY, as an integer. You must be give as an integer only, not more than integer you are supposed to give. So it must not be a letter, it must not be a special case character also. It must be always key integer only, because we have masked it so that if you enter any character, so it would be automatically not receiving anything. If it is a special character, something like exclamation mark, at the rate, or hash, would not also be taken into consideration because we have masked it. Now, to transmit the specific thing, ciphertext CT will be equal to initially null character, because we did not perform any kind of operation at this moment. Ciphertext will be equal to null string. Okay. So we'd like to perform the same for ch in whatever the plain text you have been taken. The plain text, each and every character must be ciphered, otherwise translated towards the ciphertext by taking the key value, that is k. Okay. Then so here we are supposed to use two different types of functions, character related, string related functions. One is ORD. ORD will be always gives you the ASCII equivalent value, and then CHR will be gives you the character based on the ASCII value. It is being identifying the character. So to identify that one, some ORD value, otherwise ORD value, for example, we'd like to consider will be equal to whatever the character you have received, that must be identified with ORD. ORD of, so that particular character CH. CH will be, I hope that, I believe that you have some information how for loop can be worked out here. For loop will be taken first character, second character, third character, and so on and so forth. So could be taken. After getting the order value in the sense ASCII value. So typing ASCII value can be taken here. and then that particular value can be taken. So CHIPF cipher value would be taken into consideration something like this. So order value, cipher value could be assigned to this ORD order value. After assigning this particular cipher value, order value to the here V is capital letter. So V is capital letter here. Yeah, V is capital letter. After identifying the one, you need to check out whether your cipher value will be equal to Z or not. First of all, if so, CIPHER cipher will be equal to or will be greater than so ORD of so small z. Would like to consider ORD of small z. If that is the case, what exactly we are trying to perform here is so cipher value could be identified. CIPHER cipher value could be identified. So order of ORD of small a, because after z, so if you have any character that must be cyclically provided a only. If z will be taken, so then that will be z plus 3 will be taken. For example, 125. 125 is not there with us in our cipher text here. I mean ASCII characters here. So maximum bound will be 122 plus 3, 125. 125 will be provided some other value. That is not the case we would like to provide here. So if 122 will be reached by you, obviously you have to come back and you have to check about this one here. Okay. So 125 in the sense 122 will be termed as A, and next value can be B, next value can be C, something like that you have to take into consideration here. So that if it is order of so-called value, cipher of this particular order of so-called value plus, sorry, order of A, order of A plus, so whatever the distance or whatever the key you have been taken, key minus so order of so that particular Z, because Z is the final character of that particular list. So order of Z minus so order value. So whatever the order value you have been taken, that particular value plus one. ORD, sorry, it is minus ORD VALU plus one. Okay, so in this way you have to convert the so z will be there in your final text, so that will be converted something like this. Okay, after taking this particular thing, then whatever the cipher text you have been taken into consideration, that cipher text will be equal to cipher text plus so whatever the value you have been taken into, whatever the value you have been acquired, that acquired value is cipher value. So CHR of CIPHER cipher. Okay, let us take this particular thing, and then after this one, so print the cipher 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 value is comma. So that particular cipher value is cipher. No, that is CT. That is CT. Okay. In this way, you have to convert. Let me save this one for a while. So this is called as encryption. Let me save in the same area where exactly we are trying to save that particular thing. Cipher text. Otherwise, C text. Simply CTEXT dot py. Okay. Let me save this one with this name. Okay. Then run this particular program for you. So enter plain text word in the lowercase letters. That is HELLO is my word. I would like to communicate with my friend with hello. First of all, hello. Then followed by you could follow your own conversation. So integer value, the key value will be 3. Okay. Cipher is not defined. CIPER. Okay, I'm sorry. CIPER, not PHER. CIPER. CHIPER. Okay, CHIPER. One moment, please. Here also some problem is there. CHIPER. And then here also CHIPER. Okay, like this you have been save this particular program and enter one more time. Hello. Then key value is some 3. Then the cipher value is again hello. No, it is not correct. Value plus 1. It's not cipher equivalent value here. Cipher text equal to C. Okay. CHIPER. Yes. Let me check it out one more time for a while. Hello. Then 3 will be the no, it is not correct. Actually, it is not coming properly. The plain text you have been taken, and order value is order of CH will be taken into consideration. Then order value plus the problem is here. We haven't added the key here. We have to add a key here. Okay, sorry, key will be gets added here. So that is why you could get the output properly. Okay, I'm sorry for this. So let us check out this one. Hello, and the value is 3. So you could get KHOOR. You can see KHOOR is our actual cipher value for HELLO. Cipher value for HELLO is KHOOR. Okay, let me give one more input, then you could understand very clearly. Let me say uh, NEWTON. Newton is my value. So then key value is 3 again. Key value is again 3. That is, look at this. So QHZWRQ. Okay, N instead of N, you could go ahead and look about this one here, Newton. So here it is N plus 3 will be so taken as Q here. E instead of E, we have been taken as so H here. So instead of E, H has been taken into consideration. W instead of W, you have been taken as Z here. So W is the actual word, actual character plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, that is totally it becomes as Z. And the W T instead of T, we have been taken as so W here. So instead of T, it will be so encoded as W. And UWT O instead of O, it has been taken as R. So N instead of N, it has been taken again Q. So that is the output here. That is the output here. QHZWRQ. So it could not understand the people whomever acts or grab this particular ciphertext value. What is this? People could not understand unless until so they maybe have this particular key value. If key value is there with them, of course they will be so decrypt immediately. There is no problem at all. It could be decrypted immediately if key value will be there. Unless a key value cannot be there, so it is this QH ZWRQ cannot be taken into consideration. Let me change the key one more time for a while, then we will see what is the so output here. So let me enter same NEW. Oh, wait. NEW, NEWTON. Newton is our word. And then let me change it as 5. Okay, key value can be changed to 5. 5. Look at this. Previously it is 3. It has been come this particular ciphertext. Now it is the key value has been changed, that is 5. So you have been taken this particular output. Okay, this is the output where exactly you have been provided. This is the ciphertext or encrypted form of Newton. Encrypted form of Newton is SJBYTS based on the key value. Key value is so that is 5. Okay, in this way you can provide cipher text here. So this is the program for ciphertext. Okay, providing encryption algorithm ciphertext value. So this is the program which we have to consider as like this. Now we would like to decrypt. Yes, your friend has been received the data as this particular value. This value has been received by your friend. SJBYTS has been received by your friend. How this could be decrypted to plain text as Newton? How this could be done? So let us save this particular program with other name, that is plain text, p text. Let me make it as a p text here. and I'd like to take so the same kind of operation here also. So now you'd like to consider as ciphertext. You may be taken as input, and the key value is the same. And then here, instead of ciphertext here, let me say it as plain text. I'd like to get back the plain text here. So here ch in ciphertext, it has been come. We have been taken as input as ciphertext, so that we would like to get 111 character from the ciphertext. Then order value will be equal to order of ch again. There is no question here. Then here, what exactly you are trying to do, as I said in the beginning of this particular class, at a receiver's end, while he is decrypting, it must be minus. It must be minus only. Okay. Then if you make this particular value as minus, it maybe leads to small a. It maybe goes to small a. So this small a will be there with you. Then a cipher value could be identified something like this. So order of capital small z minus, because always we are trying to perform only minus value here. So minus. So k minus order of a, so of order value plus 1. Okay. So previously we have taken as this one as plus k. Right now it is minus k. Okay. Then ciphertext equal to, okay, sorry, plain text will be equal to pt. It is not ciphertext, it is plain text equal to plain text plus, so whatever the cipher value you have with you. Okay. Whatever the cipher value you have with you. Okay, if you have any problem with you, plain, 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 you could take it as a plain. Okay, here also you could take it as PLAIN, plain. And then, so here the value will be plain only again, PLAIN. Then you have to provide the output as PT. You have to provide the output as PT. Okay, let me save this one for a while and run this particular program one more time. Okay, so invariant syntax. PT will be equal to PT plus mm, okay, let me change it as not exactly PT here. Let me change this particular value. Okay, wait for a while. Yeah, female AIM. Female AIM has been identified. Yes, it will be cipher will be. Uh, it is not cipher. Sorry, it is also plain. It is also plain. It is also plain. Okay, let me run about this particular program. One. Okay, syntax will be getting involved here. Is one more extra closed brace is required here. Extra closed brace is required here, so that is why it is coming as that particular thing. So now, right now, we would like to take this particular value as input. So that is sj by ts as the input of your program right now, because we are trying to perform decryption here. And the key will be same key could be gets operated here also. The key will be equal to, so 5 here. Then you could get what is this dm. Okay, we did not perform a proper value here. Order of a plus order value plus 1. Yes, we have been taken in a proper way. Okay, so problem is, here it is, we have to operate less than, because plain text will be always less than, while subtracting the value from actual characters ASCII value minus, in the sense it will be go beyond the a value, so that is why you could get the, so that particular thing. Let me enter one more time. So sj pyts, and our thing is this one. Yes, you could get Newton. Then EW, we need to get the W. So we will like to check out this particular value, why it is U instead of this one, why it is U. We would like to check it out. Of course, everything is correct only. So in this way, you could get the output. Let me check out this particular thing. QHW RQ. Let me execute one more time. QHW. QH QH ZWRQ. So the key value is here, it is 3. So Newton. For this one, it has been come very much properly. So for this one, you will be. We would like to check it out. This one. So it could be worked out for all keys. There is no problem at all. So this is the decryption algorithm. So decryption will be plain text will be get back something like this. So always you have to check that whether less than the ASCII value of A, it must be always less than. Greater than the ASCII value of Z, it must be greater than. So that is the point we need to understand here. That is the point we need to understand here. In this way, we like to decrypt the value and encrypt the value. Encryption is a previous program and decryption is this particular program here. Okay. In this way, you have to operate decryption here. So you need to understand this particular diagram very carefully. You need to understand this particular diagram very carefully. This particular diagram is very much useful to you to understand how you could get operate this cipher, I mean encryption and decryption. Encryption can be always add the key value. So key value must be operated as plus here, whereas decryption must be always deduct the key value, that is minus k. Minus k can be gets operated here. In this way, you have to operate. And I'll send these two programs through you in Google Classrooms, and I'll also give one assignment to you. So previously I have promised you to give assignment, but I am unable to give that because encryption and decryption is not there with us, so that I am unable to give that. So I'll give you assignment to you on this particular encryption and decryption algorithm. Okay. So this is what how that data encryption can be done by using your Python. Okay. So one is trying to identify encryption, and second one is trying to identify decryption. Okay. Then followed by text files. Normally, any text file, whatever the text file you are expected to perform, so you could have many number of text. So applications are there: Notepad, Notepad plus plus, Edit plus plus, Edit, Edit text or Note text. Note text is there with what is that? Apple Macintosh kind of operating systems. So thereby you do have many number of operations are there here, many number of applications are there here to write the text on one particular thing. Let me open Notepad for you for a while. Yes, this is the note form, and you could type anything here. Even you maybe type 2, 3, 1. Otherwise, any kind of character, any kind of thing which would be typed by you, everything will be considered as a string. It is not number; it is a string. So therefore, the processing which is being happening with the Notepad or Notepad plus or Edit plus or Note to text plus, whatever the application or text editors are there with you, everything will be taken as string format only. And these applications are used to you to view the data, to read the data, to save the data. All these things operations will be gets operated by these applications here. Okay, it must be in only text form in the sense string form. It could be always in string form. You need to remember that particular point in your mind. Okay, then here as I said just before, the text might be either in characters, or it is in words, or it is numbers, or it is lines, line of text, everything, whatever it may be. But this must be always taken into consideration as what do you call string form only. If you are trying to specify the value as number, so it is in either form of integer or it is in floating points. They must be separated by white space characters such as single space or tabs or new lines. Whatever it may be, you could consider something like this. So to perform these operations, what exactly you could consider? Okay, already I told you that the data which is being processed by these text editor applications, either it is in output form or it is in input form, must be in strings. This is the point we would like to remember. Okay, everything must be in string form only. It must not be, so text editors cannot be so distinguish. You may be enter a character or a number or a floating value that could not be identified. That could not be identified here. So everything will be in terms of strings only. So to do this particular operation, So you must be convert the number into whatever the input you have been taken, that must be converted into so numbers or floats. If you want to really processing the value as integers or numbers, float value, you must be convert them. Okay, of course, we are not talking about this particular thing at this moment. So we are talking about only file operations here. So what are the different kinds of file operations which are available with Python? Number one, first and foremost one is open. You must open the file first. Look at this. So I'd like to close this one again. So if you want to apply text operation here, so you just open your notepad first. Yes, I have been opened. So a file will be open for you. This is the file space which is being opened for you. Thereby, you can type something here. Thereby, you have to enter some kind of data here. So first of all, you need to open the file first. Then for opening the file, so there is a system call. These are called as system calls. So system call open. So you may be given as path name in the sense name of the file, and in which mode you are trying to open that particular file. There are so 4 different types of modes are there. Either it is R mode, W mode, RW mode, or A mode. So R in the sense only for reading purpose. It is only for applying reading purpose. W mode in the sense it is only in terms of writing purpose. So only write onto the specific file. RW in the sense read and write both will be gets operated by you. A in the sense append mode. If already some data will be there with you, so that data will be appended by the data which we have to enter right now. As like as this one here. Let me open one more time this notepad here. So I have type this is a sample text. Yes, I have saved this one again. Let me save this particular file for a while. Yes, save. This file has been saved on desktop. ABC is my file name. Okay, let me close this. And again, open this file. And again, open this particular file. Yes, I am opening that particular file. Open. My file name is ABC. Yes, this is the file name. Yes, already some data is there. Now, your text editor will be open this file in appended mode. Yes, you can enter, and you have to enter some more data here. You are in appended mode. Okay. So appending is in the sense. So previously some data will be contained by you. The data is being placed as it is, and then followed by you may be append some more extra data to that particular file which is available with you. So in this way you can perform this one here. In this way you can perform either it is in read mode, or it is in write mode, or it is read or write mode, or it is append mode. And more specifically, let me talk about read mode. If you take read mode, so it is checking for your file is existed in the present working directory or not. We are saving our Python files at so-called name. So let me show you where exactly that could be. So here, this is the path where exactly you are saving your files. In E:2021 is the 2020-21 is one directory. Within that Python is another directory. Within that PROGS is another directory. Thereby you are saving your Python files. Within this particular directory, whatever the name you have been given, that is existed or not, it will be checking for existence, exists or not. If it is existed, it could be open. If it is not existed, it doesn't do any kind of operation for you. Okay, it doesn't do any kind of operation for you. Let me show you for a while. I'll show you by using some particular program. This program cannot be used for you. Okay, let me save it as a file, save as op.py, open.py. Okay, let me eliminate everything here. So file is equal to input, enter the file name for reading. Whatever the file name you are interested, yes, you can enter it. After taking that one, you may be operate this particular thing here. So file dot open, sorry, file is equal to open. Otherwise, if you are any confusion, you just take another variable name also. There is no problem at all. So what you are trying to open here, the file which is opening by you is file, comma, in which mode you are opening? Read mode. Read mode you are opening. If a file is really existed, there is no problem. It could be open for read and it could be perform some kind of operation. If file is not existed, it will gives you some error message. Okay, file is not existed, so that I could not do anything for you. Something like some error message will be generated here. Okay, so right now, so let me process like this for line in F. So print line. Okay, whatever the line you have with you, that could be print out by using so this particular for loop. Let us examine this. Let us examine this one. So this file name is op.py. Let me execute this particular file. Okay, let me execute the file name which I would like to interested to open is some pqr.txt. This is my file name. So whether it is existed or not, look at this. So PQR, there is no file or directory in the present working directory. Let me open that particular directory and show you whether it is existed or not. Let me open that particular file and so do that particular so programs. Look at this. Do you find any kind of PQR here? No, there is no PQR here. There is no PQR. There is no file which is available as the name as the PQR here. So that is why you got this error message. You got this particular error message. No such file or directory. The name is pqr.txt. So what you understand is read only. The read mode will be always checks that whether file will be exist or not. If it is existed, there is no problem. It could be perform the operation properly. If it is not existed, then it will be gives you error message. File is not found, so I could not do anything for you. That is what about read. Whereas if you take write mode, so first of all, it could be check about R mode, sorry, W mode. Sorry, W mode will be always checks that W mode will be always checks that whether file will be existed or not. File will be existed or not. If it is file name is not existed, then what actually it could done is if it is not existed, it could be create the file. Create the file. Read cannot be create the file where W can be create the file. Okay, if it is file is does existed, so there is no problem. If file does not existed, so it could be create the file. This is the first case you need to understand. Let me open one more time the notepad. So read R mode can be always checks that file existed or not. If it is file is existed, if file is existed, then it can open in read mode. Read mode. Okay. So if file is really existed for you, that could be open in read mode. If file does not existed, if file does not existed, existed, then it will be gives error. Okay, it could be gives you error. Whereas W mode, it's also perform the same operation but a different way. What is that way here? It is also checking for whether file is existed or not. If it is file does not existed, if file does not existed, what exactly it could be done? File does not existed, it can create the file. File will be created. If file is does existed, for example, so look at this, it is not existed, does not existed. That is what you need to find out here. Where if a file does existed, if file does existed, then what it could be done here in the sense, it can be so removes all data from the file and create a new file. Otherwise, it can be removes. Okay, removes the file and create a new file with the same name. First of all, it must be remove the file. Whatever the content which is available with you, that total data will be gets removed. That file will be completely removed. After removing, what it could be done here in the sense, it could be create a new file with the same name, whatever the name you have been given. So previous file, the file will be just deleted first and then create the same name. And now after creation of your file, what you could understand, that file will be empty. Nothing is there. Okay, it could be done something like that. And then RW mode in the sense, it could be check out the file will be existed or not, first of all. If a file will be existed or not. So because of W, it could be done if a file will be really not existed, file will be created. So if a file will be existed, what exactly can be done? The same operation, what exactly it could be done in terms of W also. Whatever the operation which could be done at W mode, same operations will be gets operated here also. Okay. In A mode, it's also checking for whether file will be existed or not. If file will be existed or not. If file will be really existed, so it could not be, if file does not existed, it could be create the file. It could be automatically create the file. If file is does existed, your file is really existed, it cannot remove the file, it cannot remove the file, it just open the file. Open the file. So that is the basic difference between these four different types of modes here. These are the differences between four modes of the file. Let me repeat one more time. So if file in R mode, it is checking for file is existed or not. If it is existed, it can be opened in read mode. It is going to read the data from the file. That's all. It could not do any other operation. If it is not existed, provide an error. An error message will be so occurred for you when file is not existed. This is what about R mode. Whereas W mode, so it is also going to check that whether file is existed or not. If file is not existed, it simply create the file. There is no problem. File will be it gets created. If file is really existed, file is there in our present working directory, then it could be removes or delete that particular file. Removes or delete that particular file, and then creates a new file with the same name. Whatever the name you have been given with the same name, it could be create one more file after removing of that particular file. Whereas RW, it could also be perform the same operation. Okay, it could also be same operation because of W. Because of W, it could be perform the same operation. Whereas in appended mode, it's also checking for the file is existed or not. If a file is really not existed, it could be create the file. File is really not existed, create the file. If file is does existed, if file is existed, then it just open the file. Okay, it could not be remove the contents or remove the file. It is just open the file. So after opening, you just move your contents to end of the file, and you have to perform the operation. Okay, you have to perform the operation. Then what exactly it could be? R could be. So for example, if a file is existed, okay. So here in R mode, file is existed. Yes, file is really existed with you. Then what exactly it could be? It is open the file in read mode. After reading mode, you are trying to read the data, from the file. Okay, you are trying to read the data from the file. So it is continuously reading, and so on and so forth for number of times. Okay, word by word, it is going to read the data. So it may be enter into last and final word. After that, you are trying to read, then it could be provides you null character. Null character in the sense, yes, reading is gets over. Entire content has been read by you. That is the meaning. Entire content will be read by you. So it could be the point we need to understand here. Okay. So file will be, I'm talking about if read mode will be there, yes, your file is already existed in that particular file, some content also be there. Yes, some data also be available within that particular file, and then you can use for loop, and you can get the data from that particular file. Yes, everything will be reading out, reading out, reading out for several number of times based on the data which is available with you. For example, 5 lines of data is there. For example, 5 lines of data is there. For the first time, first line. For the second time, second line. For the third time, third line, fourth line, fifth line. 5 times it could be operated successfully. But sixth time, no data is there with you to read. So therefore, it could be provide null character. When null character will be there, you can understand that yes, your file reading is completed. Reading of your file is gets completed. So these are the points we need to remember regarding to file operations here. Okay, read mode, write mode, RW mode, and A mode. Okay, so these are the specifications you need to remember here. Okay, so however that could be happen here. Okay, let me eliminate everything. Let me erase all the writings. Then this is the opening mode which we have to consider. Then second operation will be F close. File dot close. Already one file is open. After performing your operations, you have to close it. Okay, you are not supposed to open the file after completion of your whole operation. You just close it. Then followed by file write. If you want to write onto the file, if you open your file in W mode and you are trying to create a new file for you, yes, some data will be taken and that could be written onto the file. By using this particular F write, yes, you could perform that operation. This A string, whatever it may be, I have taken as A string. A string will be writes onto the file. Okay, outputs A string to the file. What does it mean? It must be written onto the file. Then followed by fread. If you want to read the data from the file, so read will be used to take into consideration. Next command will be read line. Two different types of commands are there. Fread is trying to read character by, word by word. Sorry, word by word. Single string in the sense one word will be taken from the file. If file will be reached to end, it could be provide so null string. Okay, if the end of the file will be reached, the null string is going to provide it for you. Then the last and final one is read line. So here it is. It could be read. For example, this is the data. This is the data actually you have with you in your file. For example, this is the data which is available with you in your file. Then fread will be reads input for the first time input, then followed by the, then followed by contents, then followed by OF, then followed by A, because everything will be considered as a single word. Inputs is one word, D is another word, contents is another word, then off is another word, A is another word, file is another word, and is another word, returns is another word, something like that. It is going to read so word by word. Whereas F dot read line, it could be read continuously at a time. And total line will be read by this particular read line at a time. So in this way, it is going to read. If it is end of the file, obviously it's also be returned the null character. Null character will be returned. So these are the 5 operations which we would like to concentrate while working with text files. First of all, what are the so operations you are supposed to do here? If your file is if you are trying to create a file, new file in the sense, first of all you need to create the file. First operation will be so create a file. File must be created. It could be done by W mode. So W mode it could be done. Then followed by second operation is write data onto the file. You must write onto the file. So it could be done by f.write. F.write here a string. A string. One parameter must be forwarded by you. The third one. So after writing the data, so if you think that yes, my file is gets over, then you have to close the file. How could you close here in the sense? It could be done by f.close. This is the command which is used to close the file. After closing this particular thing, if you want to read the data from the file again, you have to perform so again 3 more operations. That is, first of all, open the file first. Open the file in read mode. So it could be done by R mode. Okay, opening the file with R mode. Second one is you may be operate read the contents of contents from the file. It could be done by two different types of commands or methods, file methods. One is f.read. This is one. Otherwise, if you are not interested to read word by word, if you are trying to read the entire line at once, so f.read line. You could perform either of these two methods to read the data from the file. Third one is after completion of your reading and providing the output onto the screen, then you have to close the file. Then you have to. So, however, whatever the operation you could perform, so at the end, after completion of your operation, you must close the file. So, for writing data onto the file, these three operations will be done, and for reading data from the file, these three operations will be done. While reading data, you must take care that whether file is really existed or not. If it is not existed, just I show you some error message here. There is no such file or directory here. The command is not supposed to be. The file is not supposed to be identified. Some error message will be generated if file is not existed. If file is existed, yes, these three operations will be done continuously. Okay. So, for example, while reading the data, if you have some 5 lines, the second step will be continued for 5 times or a number of times. If you are using f.read, so obviously you have to operate for number of times. If you read with line f.read line, so 5 lines will be there. 5 times you have to repeat the same type of command here. Okay. So first of all, we would like to perform this operation first, and then this operation, and then both will be combined with a single program. Okay, let us do this operation first. Okay, so let me do it for a while here. So yes, you have been taken a file as input here, and you have been create your file. So W mode. Okay, after that, what we are trying to perform here is, so let me read the data. Data will be equal to, so enter input, enter. Okay, let me take it as input only. So otherwise, we'd like to consider here enter data to file. So you'd like to consider that at the end, if you are consider that yes, my file is gets over in the sense you must type end. You must type end. At the end, you must type end. When end will be typed, then your file content writing will be gets over. Okay. So look at this. Now I'd like to perform this particular operation. While so data dot so upper. So we don't know how user could be enter the data. So that is why I'd like to consider upper. Data dot upper is not equal to so end, because we have converted this particular data as end here. So that end will be get circled. Until then, you have to write onto the file f dot write of data. Okay, here the data cannot be converted into uppercase. Whatever the data you have typed, same data will be placed onto the file. After completion, you think that yes, your data has been written. Then again, so you have to take the same kind of input here. Okay, for the first time you have given some input over there, so that you have to follow the same. Okay, take the input, next line, and so on and so forth. How many times you are trying to introduce? Yes, you can take it out. After completion of that one, f dot close. Already told you, you must close that particular file. Okay, you just read the file name, followed by open that file in write mode, and then enter some data to place onto the file. So that particular file place, how long you can place that line in the data here in the sense until you may be type end. If you type end, so your file writing is gets over. If you are not supposed to type end, so till then the data will be so continuously so placed onto the file here. So let us examine whether this could be gets executed properly or not. Let me execute this one for a while. Yes, file name is, so previously we have checked that pqr.txt is not available. So let us check this one here right now. pqr.txt, yes, this is the file name. Okay, then you have to type the data until the end. So end must be typed to end the file. So here, this is sample data used to place LACE onto the file and retrieve back. However, you can take anything, BACK. Yes, I am thinking that yes, my file contents are gets over. Now you have to type END. Okay. So yes, your data has been written. So look at this, whatever the data I have written here, whether it is created or not, let us go ahead and check out this one. Yes, TQR file is available right now. Let me open this one. Yes, you can see. This is the sample data used to place onto the file and retrieve back. Whatever the content I have entered here, the same content has been written onto the file here up to this particular point. Okay, it has been. And then when you have to type END, yes, your writing onto the file will be gets over. Okay, this is the program which is used to so place data onto the file. Okay, okay. Enter file name is enough. I think enter file name is enough. Enter file name is enough. Okay. You can give your own prompt message. There is no problem at all. Your own prompt messages. Okay, whatever the prompt message you are interested, yes, you can give. Now let me create one more program for you to read the contents. So READ read.py. Okay. Otherwise f read dot py. Yes, I have been taken this particular thing. Now I am trying to read the file. So what exactly we are trying to perform here? What exactly the operations will be performed here? You just go through the so operations here. First operation is you have to open the file in read mode, and then second operation is read the content of the file by using read or read line. You can take this one for number of lines. For if you have too many number of lines, yes, you can operate this particular step for number of times. After completion of your reading, yes, you have to close it. So observe this one whether it is executed properly or not. Yes, our file name has been taken here. Then this file must be open in read mode. This file must be open in read mode. Then followed by because I'd like to perform this operation for several number of times, so that so I'd like to read the data for data in whatever the file you have been taken, that particular file, and then what we are trying to perform, f dot print, so f dot read, okay. After this one, after completion of this particular reading from the file, why I have used print here in the sense, whatever the data you have been read, that must be placed onto the screen. So to place onto the screen, so I have to read for several times and print onto the screen here. Then followed by f dot close. So file must be closed. Okay, let me execute this one for a while. So my file name is pqr.txt. That is my file name. So just before we have entered pqr.txt. Okay. So yes, the data will be taken something like this, because several number of lines has been entered here. So the data has been taken here something like this. Okay. Entire data will be placed onto the specific thing. Where you are trying to perform the same operation with the read line, it's also fine. It's also fine. So let me check it out one more time. So sorry, let me execute this one for a while here. So pqr.txt, yes, it has been. Okay, both will be same. Let me go ahead and open the file, another file. Let me say add.py. What is the contents of this one? Let us check out this one. This is the add.file. So let us check out whether this particular thing will be properly read out or not, in a proper way or not. Let us check out this one here. So that is enter file name add.py. The input of our file name is add.py. Okay, so this is the content. Okay, this is the content here. In this way, you could able to read the data from the file. Okay, so for reading, so you must follow these operations. Step number two can be done for several number of times for reading, and for writing, these are the steps you have to follow. Step number two can be done for several number of times until a word, not only end. You can place your own word, whatever the word it may be. So you have to take that, but until that particular word, the data will be repetitively written onto the file. After writing onto the file, so at last you have to close that particular file. In this way, you can perform the operations here. These are the operations. This is one particular program which is used to read the file, and this is another program which is right onto the file. And let us combine this. Let us combine this, and whether it is being executed properly or not. Let us combine this. Okay. So I'd like to save as with another name. So FREAD. Okay. FWR read and write dot py my file. Yes, here you'd like to consider the file. Enter the file name. Enter the file name. Yes, I have been taken. File will be open in write mode first. I'd like to write the data onto the file first. Yes, it has been. Then you may be enter some. So let me say data will be equal to what is that input. So enter data to the file followed by end for stop enter. Okay, stop. Okay, END for stop the data. Stop the data. Okay, you can take anything, whatever it may be. After this one, what we are supposed to do? While so data dot upper. We don't know how the user could be entered. Capital END, otherwise all caps, otherwise all lowercase letters. So that is why we'd like to check it out. Convert that end into uppercase, not equal to so this particular character end. Until then, you have to read the data from the file, and then what exactly we are trying to perform. So you have to place onto the file here. So for placing onto the file, f dot so WRITE of data. Whatever the data you are expected, that could be placed onto the file. Then afterwards, you have to take one more time. So this particular reading, data will be taken from the user again. Of course, this is not required here because again and again we are not supposed to enter this one here for it. Okay, after completion of this one, f dot close. I told you after writing onto the file, you must be closed up. Yes, closing is gets over. Now, what exactly you are trying to do? You are trying to perform reading the data from the file. So to read the data from the file, what exactly the opening of the file? That is in read mode. Yes, I have been opened the file in read mode. And then for data in file, so print that particular thing. So here many number of lines has been got occurred. So that is why you'd like to place END is equal to just single character. Okay, don't place anything here, something like this you have to specify. Okay, then after doing the particular same job, so everything will be gets read and has been placed onto the screen. Then finally you have to close it. So we have created the file and placed data onto the file, and then close the file, and then again open your file in read mode, and then read the data from the file and place onto the screen, and then finally you have to close it. Okay, you have to close it. Okay, so this is the way. So let us execute this one for a while. So now let me take it as so stud, otherwise stud.txt is my file name, and here so you see this one. Enter data for file and for stop the data. Okay, so let me say Newton's Institute, right? Instead of the ring. So Alugurapalli, inshallah 5222456 something like it. However, whatever the value may be, Andhra Pradesh, India. Okay, something like this. At the end, I'd like to place END. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Whatever the data you have been placed, everything will be placed onto that particular file and can be so taken into consideration. Okay. So here, while writing the data onto screen, so this end lines has not been taken into consideration. So why it has not been taken into consideration here in the sense, this is the reason. So we have entered this particular end. Okay, if you eliminate this particular end, then it could be done in a proper way. How you are entered the data, the same way it could be produced in output. Okay, so this is the way both will be gets combined, and you can produce the output also. So these are the three different types of files where exactly you have to do operations on the file. Then the last one, what I have promised to you is the number systems. Already we have seen the conversion was happened between decimal to binary. Now binary to decimal. How they could be converted here. Let us have a look and let us do that particular operation also. Okay. So look at this. Only one conversion is taken into consideration. So let me open a document for you, then it is very easy to understand. Wait for one moment. Yeah. So let us. I would like to enter. This is the data here. 101001 something like this will be entered by me. So here, how this could be converted? This value power 0, this value power 1, this value power 2, this value power 3. So this value power 4. So 1 into 2 power 4. So plus 0 into 2 power 3 plus 1 into 2 power 2 plus 0 into 2 power 1 plus 1 into 2 power 0. So this is the specification. So here 1 into 2 power 4 in the sense of 16 plus it is actually 0. 0 into anything is 0. 1 into 2 square is 4. So plus 0 into anything is 0 plus so 1 into 2 power 0 is 1. So finally it is equal to 21. This is the value. Okay, this is the value which is in decimal form. So to perform this particular operation, what we are supposed to do? Let us take this file, take this particular problem, and we'll conclude this session today. Okay. So let me save with another name. The name will be so bin to dec decimal dot py. Okay, binary to decimal dot py. Let me close everything. Not required of this particular thing here. So bin, okay, bin is already in particular thing. Bi will be equal to input. So you have to enter so a string of bits. String of bits. You have to take in terms of string of bits only. Okay. After taking this particular thing, whatever the decimal you are trying to convert de, decimal will be equal to 0 beginning. Okay. In the beginning, it is 0. Then followed by what exactly you are trying to perform here is you need to identify what is the length of that particular number of bits. Length will be equal to, so let me consider exponent. Exponent value could be equal to length of what is that binary number. Whatever the binary number you have been taken, that length will be taken into consideration. Of course, it must be length must be always. It could be always starts with 0, so that is why we would like to make it as minus. After that, for okay, DA is DA. Digit will be equal to digit in. So the actual input that is number of bits. So what we are supposed to do here is decimal equal to decimal. So plus we need to convert that particular bit into integer. Integer of digit. The digit must be converted into integer. So into 2 power something. 2, sorry, 2, so exponent operator of exp. Okay, 2 exponent operator by exp. Then exponent must be decreased. That is 2 power 4, 2 power 3, 2 power 2, and so on. So likewise, you have to decrease the specific value. So therefore, the exponent value will be equal to exponent value minus 1. It could be done. Okay. After that, finally, so you have to print the value. Print the decimal and the equivalent value is, what is the decimal equivalent value is, that is where exactly it is, DE. At DE, the value could be there. That's all. That ends the matter. Okay, let me execute this one for a while. So we have to enter the decimal value here. Sorry, binary digits here. So what is the explanation we have taken? 10101. 10101. 10101. This is the value. So we have evaluated this one as 21. Yes, we got the value as 21 here. Let me, if you have any questions, then we would like to execute one more time. We know very well 1010 is so 10 here. 1010, the value is 10 here. In this way, you can convert the number binary digit number into decimal equivalent value. Okay, so these are the specifications which we have to confirm with this particular class. Okay, data encryption is gets over, and string with the number systems already binary to decimal has been taken just before, and decimal to binary already taken in the previous classes itself, and the string methods also be taken itself, and how text files will be gets processed also taken. So this is what the specification regarding to unit number 2. I will forward each and every file what exactly I did to you through Google Classrooms. I will also give assignment to you today. Okay, assignment also be given today. Thank you. Okay, wait for a while. Don't. Today, very few people have attended. I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay, that's the class for today.